Hello and welcome to the Manifest to Live Life Golden Show. This is season 2, episode 4. Never feel like you have enough time. I'm going to give you 7 ways to create more time. We're going to talk about the frequency of time. We're going to talk about bending time, how you can create more time, and how you can enter into the ease and flow of life where time doesn't feel so constrained and time doesn't fly by too fast and time doesn't feel like it's never enough. So I'm really excited to bring you this conversation because I've had some realizations lately about my time, about what I'm doing with my time and how time is responding to me, like what my relationship with time is and why it feels so good right now. So I realized within the last few weeks how I have like the perfect amount of time to get things done. And it's so interesting. Like if I have to be at a yoga class or if I have to create, I'm actually in the middle of creating these meditations and activities for my 21-day abundance activation, which I am bringing to the public on April 22nd. You're going to have an opportunity to work with me every day. And I share these activities and it tunes you into the frequency of abundance. So I started thinking about abundance and time and how time relates to the abundance that we feel and how good we feel every single day if we have enough time or we feel like we don't have enough time. So I've had to do things every single day, and I've been creating this program along with a group of people every single day. So I have to make sure I get these activities done and these meditations done, and I have to do it every single day. So along with the other, incredible things I'm doing every day as far as taking care of a family and creating teachings. And I'm actually launching a TV show. Hello. So there's a lot of things to get ready for that. So the basis of all of it is how we feel, right? It's how we feel about time. It's how we value time. It's how we respect time. It's our relationship to time that actually manifests it in our life. So recognize this. One thing I realized was a lot of the time that I've been feeling, that perfection of time, is because I'm not spending a lot of time inside of my own thoughts. Like I'm not spending a lot of time in thoughts of the past, because those thoughts, when we're thinking about the past, we're actually slowing energy down, right? Like we're bringing ourselves back, we're turning ourselves back. And I'm not thinking a lot about the future, which is how we speed up time. When we start worrying about the future or we start projecting into the future, then, and I'm not talking about visualization, I'm just talking about your everyday 60,000 thoughts a day. Where are they at? And are you slowing yourself down enough during meditation? I've been doing a lot of very strong, solid, accountable meditations every day, probably 20 to 40 minutes every day in meditation. And how much is that feeling, permeating throughout my day, that relaxation, that allowing, that receiving mode, how much is that permeating throughout my day? And for me, receiving mode is very obvious in what I'm creating. So it's obvious in my posts every day. It's obvious in my meditations. It's obvious in my teachings. It's obvious in my inspirations and the ideas that are coming to me. That's how I feel like I'm really in receiving mode. So every day, I have this to-do list, just like everybody else, this checklist. And I feel very ease and flow about it. And I feel like this perfection of time has to do a lot with being mindful and being present and being very joyful and appreciating the preciousness of life moment to moment in every single little activity I get to do, whether it's creating a meditation or it's folding laundry or it's making dinner. All of those energies, all of those things that I'm bringing to the table are permeated through my meditation, through my feeling of that solid foundation of, receiving mode, of relaxing, of allowing, our connection to abundance in this abundance activation group that I'm running right now. We're doing a lot of different activities, and abundance isn't just money. Abundance is a feeling. It's a frequency that we tune into by being grateful, by appreciating our life, by really basking in the things that we get to be a part of. That energy of abundance can be applied to anything. It can be applied to time. It can be applied to money. It can be applied to any area in your life when you start to actually structure your life and understand that everything you send out is what you're getting back. So when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're most of the time when you're feeling stressed and overwhelmed, you're taking on the future, right? Like you're taking on all the things that you have to do in this moment right here and now. And there's nothing you can do about all of them right here and now. So it's a waste of energy. What that does inside your body is it uses a lot of thought space, but it activates emotions. It activates chemicals and hormones in your body that actually create cortisol, that stress hormone, that actually deplete your energy field. So then you have less energy to give to things. So then things may take you more time to accomplish than they would have if you had this energy of life force coming through you that I'm feeling on the daily all day long. So pay attention to that, because that stress you're running, first of all, is going to kill you. Like it is. It's going to create disease in your body. That overwhelming doesn't serve you either, because when we're tuned into a frequency of having too much to do and feeling like we don't have enough time to do it, think about that signal that you're sending to the universe, right? Don't have enough time. That's the signal that you're sending. So the universe is going to give you more reasons to feel that way by delaying things, by making you late, by making situations create lateness for you. So you really want to get ahead of this. You want to get ahead of it. You want to pre-pave that day. You want to pre-pave the energy field for what you want to live, which is ease and flow, the perfection of time, the feeling like I have enough time to do all things that I love to do, that I set out to do every day. So there is absolutely a manipulation of time based on how you are feeling, because you are conducting, right? You're that big conductor that sends out these signals that invites things back to you. All right. So present minded focus is when we get the most out of. This is the mindfulness piece that I talk about in my book, Mindful Manifestations, Daily Secrets Guide and Journal. That mindfulness means we are mindful of our moments. We are mindful of our emotions. We are mindful of our thoughts. If we are mindful, we become at choice. We get to choose which ones are we going to tune into? How do I want to feel? Is that what I want? Am I thinking about what I want? And that's what actually conducts the next moments. So when it comes to being available, being present, when you put yourself in mindfulness, present moment awareness, you are more available. So you're more available for fun, you're more available for laughter, for joy, for funny things to happen, for life to happen for you. When you're stressed, I call it the business mode of life. And we see people walking around like this all the time. Like they don't even see you. They don't even see anybody. They're in the business mode of life. Actually, I caught myself doing this morning. I was going to the gym. It was super early. I was definitely feeling still waking up, I'll call it. So I was still waking up. It was like 5:30 in the morning, and I walked by someone I absolutely know, but my head was down and I was thinking about the next thing. I was thinking about putting my stuff in my locker. I was thinking about getting upstairs. I was thinking about my arm workout. So I wasn't present. And this girl walked by me and I kind of caught her out of the corner of my eye. And I was like, oh, I totally could have said hi to her. I could have had a moment. We could have had a smile. We could have connected. But instead, I was looking down. I was in my mind. I was in that business mode of life, is what I call it, where we miss things. We missed opportunities to connect to people, to nature, to beauty, to love, to all the things that we say that we want, right? The joy, all of it. So that's what business mode is like. It's when you're so in your thoughts, you're so thinking about your to-do list, or you're so worried about the future, or you're so regretting the past that you're not in this present moment, and it is screwing you. It is detracting from your joy. It's detracting from your abundance, because if abundance is an energy and a frequency that we tune into, then we want to tune into the very best of life. And that's what my challenge is doing, is it's helping people to strip away these beliefs, the beliefs about their self-confidence, the beliefs about the money they make, the beliefs about um, about life in general, noticing, paying attention, noticing what's abundant around them. And by doing that, you are shedding all those things that detract from your joy, that pull you out of joy. Like before you know it, you're in the middle of a thought pattern that has to do with what somebody did to you 20 years ago, and you're pissed off. Like that's a frequency that you're tuning into. So we want to get a hold of the frequency. We want to get a hold of our time. Okay. So when we're fully engaged in the present moment, in our mindfulness, we are more available. We're more available for a lot more things that are trying to come to us, things that we may have missed in the past. All right. So when we enter the flow state, this is where we create perfection of ease. So flow state is when you are creating, when you're in a creative mode and you lose track of time. This is what flow state is. Now, if we're going to apply flow state to our life and how our life plays out, it doesn't mean we lose track of time, but what we do is we manipulate time by having this relaxed feeling of peace and of things going well and just moving through life, flowing through life, going from the next thing to the next thing. And that's when things start to really conspire with us. That's when energy conspires with us because we are in the faith and the trust that we are, first of all, doing our best, right? We're doing our best. We're not, I'm going to get into the value and wasting of time, but we are doing our best. We are moving through our energy field in the highest frequency possible. Okay. All right. So what happens when you are stressed about time is you condense time. You actually break time down and then you actually perceive that you don't have enough time. So this happens when you're feeling late. You know, I'm late. Oh my gosh, I'm late. You're stressed. You're rushing. You're driving like a maniac through traffic. People are getting in front of you. Lights are turning red. I mean, this happens, right? This actually happened to me the other day, which was pretty funny. So on the way to our gym, there's a lot of stoplights in California. Good Lord. There's a lot of stoplights. And we normally go to the gym at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So most of those lights are just green and we sail through them and I can make it to the gym in like 7 minutes. Well, on Saturday, we were going to a new spin class at like 8 o'clock. And for whatever reason, I was driving, which is funny because I don't usually drive. And I was driving with my husband. And I'm driving and all the lights keep turning red. And I'm just like, oh, and he's like, it's because you're in a rush. Because I wanted to get to class in time to put our bikes together and figure things out. This was my husband's first class. No, this was his second class. So I want to make sure we had time to like, get in there and get and do what we needed to do. And he's like, it's because you're in a rush. You're turning all the lights red. And I'm like, you're so right. So I just like took a deep breath and I calmed down. And before you know it, lights are turning green and we get there. And when we get there, we get upstairs. We've got like 5 minutes before the class starts. And I go to get the little things, the little baskets that you have to put your feet in. You have to put them on the bike, which I was concerned about, right? Like I'm thinking about this ahead of time. So I'm in the future, right? I'm stressed out. I'm in the future. And I get there and all the baskets or all the little foot things are already on the bike. So didn't need to stress about that. So how much of your life are you stressing about that doesn't even happen? It doesn't even occur. It's crazy. So actually I have a fun story to share. Actually, I'm going to wait to share that story. I'm going to let my daughter share it. My daughter's got some cool stuff going on. So my second. So I'm going to have her share that story on a show coming soon. All right. So the biggest factor in time is how you feel about it. It's your relationship to it. It's how you feel about yourself, Are you feeling good? Are you, feeling accomplished? Are you feeling like life is flowing correctly for you? Are you just living in this like fight or flight stress mode all the time where you just feel like there's no time for you, there's no time for you to be, there's no time for you to meditate. There's no time for you to exercise. There's no time for you to value yourself. Like, what are those signals that you're sending out? And what do you think you're going to get back? You're going to get sick, honestly, if you continue on that path of believing you don't have time for yourself. All right. So I want to talk about your beliefs. Okay. I want to talk about your beliefs. So this was kind of interesting because recently my husband and I had a conversation, and he's been wanting to do other things. Now he's been, he's a general contractor. He's had a big business for a long time. I mean, since it's been like 30 years since he's been running his own business, running his own show, built it from scratch when we moved here to California almost 8 years ago. Can't believe that. But he's got a lot going on, and he's got a lot going on in his day, and he's managing a lot of people. And when he comes home at night, he's tired. He's definitely tired. So recently he said, there's things that he wants to create. He wants to create things. He's actually an incredible poem writer, which could be a songwriter/songwriter. So, I just said, if you really want to be able to do those things, you have to believe that you have the time, and the time will open up, or you have to take the time. And that's what he started to realize, is that he needed to like do something different in his schedule. So we were going to the gym super early in the morning, 5:30 every single day, really militant about it, going to these classes. And so we just started to kind of free up the energy around that. And we kind of we stopped going to the gym every single day. And he started staying up late, and he would write music, and he would play with the instruments, and he started doing that and taking the time to do that. And I'm so excited to see what's going to transpire from this, because he's truly talented. Like, the stuff that he's been reading to me is so beautiful. And it's exciting to see him on a journey of creation. But he couldn't do that until he started to ask himself, how can I create the time? So we started a new workout program together, and it's just not so heavily structured, where we could actually go in the afternoon if we want to, if we need to sleep in the morning. So it's a little looser, and it's not so militant as we have been. And I feel like our bodies are going to respond better, because when you're so hyper focused, and you're so it's just not being very flexible. It's not being pliable. You've got a hard line, and it doesn't allow for anything else. And one of the things I realized with the classes that we do, and you all, if you've been listening to me for a while, we work out super hard. It wasn't fun. Like, it wasn't fun anymore. And I was like, what are we doing? And our bodies hurt, and we always felt like there was something wrong and sore. And so we started to reevaluate that, along with his situation of time. And I love what we're doing now. We're actually doing more weights. We do it together, which is more fun. We listen to the same music, and we get to actually be together, where those classes we were together, but they suck so bad we could barely you know, barely connect when we were doing that, because we're in business mode trying to get it done, right? So we started doing more weight training, and then we're doing cardio just a few days a week. And we started doing spin, which is super fun, really hard, super fun. Love it. So we're doing new things. We're opening the avenues of time. We're opening up our abilities to create our lives differently. And that gives you back some time. That gives you options. So watch the hard lines. I don't know if you're doing that, but the hard lines sometimes can make life suck. And I'm not in it for the suck. I'm in it for the joy. I'm in it for creating the most greatest potential of everything. My body, my physical body, my mental body, my spiritual body, and whatever serves at the time. So that's going to change. That's going to change as we expand and grow. So, what are your beliefs about time, and how are you valuing and respecting the time that you have? Okay, so here's one. This is good. This is really good. So, I started thinking about the value and the respect of time. And of course, the social media feed pops up into my head, like, how much time are we spending on the social media feeds? How much time are we spending on scrolling of Instagram and TikTok and Facebook? And is that a valuable use of our time? Yes, TikTok's cool, but I gotta give myself a little something for TikTok, because I may pop back on there. I kind of took myself off again. And the reason why is because when I get on TikTok, I feel like I get sucked in, and I can't get out. It's the weirdest thing. And I used to feel that way a little bit about Facebook and Instagram, but I'm much more mindful and in control of it now. But there's something about TikTok. I'm not sure. And I know it depletes dopamine. So I don't want to go places that do that to me. So I know you can learn a lot. I've learned a lot of things on TikTok. My friends send me TikToks all the time. I want to be a teacher on TikTok just to have more, people viewing it. I don't know if I need to, but the reality is that a valuable use of your time? And how much time would you get back if you cut that? I mean, just like in half, just cut it in half. Like if you're spending an hour scrolling a day, let's cut it down to 30 minutes. Let's cut it down to 35, and see how much time you get back for creating, for actually doing what you say you want to do, what will actually help you to formulate your dreams and activate energy in the direction of that. So the value of time is important, because if our relationship with time is like we just kind of throw it away and we don't respect it, then how is the universe going to give us more of something we don't value and respect? Oh my God, that's such a good question. Another way that we don't value time is when we give it away to people. We give way too much time. I remember a long time ago, I was meeting with this financial advisor, and he said he was very protective of his time. He's like, time is money, and I'm very protective of my time. And I thought, wow, that stayed with me. When people say things and it really stays with you. So I thought about that. And throughout the course of my business and what I do, because I do coaching and I talk to a lot of people online, is, am I valuing my time by consistently giving it away, especially when we give it away to people that don't value our time. When we spend time too long in conversations with people who just keep talking. Y'all know those people. They just keep talking and they keep talking. They keep talking. They don't even ask you anything, right? The conversation is completely one-sided. So I've gotten better about valuing my time by cutting those things short, by being like, I'm so sorry, but I got to run, just not being rude, but just being honest. Like, my time is precious. My time is meaningful to me. So whatever you're wanting to express is, you've used up enough of my time. So valuing that means we don't just give it away, and we stop feeling obligated to give people so much of our time. I had a girl a while ago, and a client a while ago, and she would call her family, her parents, every single Friday. And she dreaded it, and the conversation was terrible, and she wasn't loving it. Now, this doesn't mean you shouldn't call your parents or you shouldn't call your mom, but you can limit it. You don't have to call your mom every single Friday. You don't have to do anything, honestly. You can give people the time that you feel like they're going to respect. So we changed that, and she let herself off the hook for a while, and I know she felt better for it. I don't know what she's doing now, but I know she felt better for it. So especially when you've got people who are, sucking your time, who are draining you, who are, consistently negative, who are not uplifters, who you can't even share your good news with because they're going to be jealous or they're going to put you down for it. You can stop doing that. I'm going to give you permission. This is your permission slip. I'm writing your permission slip. You do not have to hang out with shitty people. I don't care if they're your family. I don't care if they're your friends. I don't care if they're your oldest friends. You don't have to do that. So another conversation I had recently was with a friend who has a friend who sucks the life out of her. And during COVID, it was kind of interesting because she had to spend every single Friday. And I was like, with this person, and I was like, why are you doing that? And she dreaded it and she couldn't stand it. And I'm like, why are you doing that? You don't have to do that. And she's like, well, her life is so awful, and she's got this problem and that problem. And I said, you didn't create this life for her. So why are you having to pay the price for it? You didn't do that. And she's like, recently, she's like, well, I've distanced myself and I feel bad because I have been, not spending time with her. And I said, why do you feel bad for not spending time with people who suck the life out of you? It doesn't make any sense, but I get it because I lived it for a long time. I lived the obligations. I lived the guilt, and it never got me anywhere except miserable. So this is about coming forth in our joy and recognizing that we have permission to live our lives in joy. We have permission to protect our time, to treat our time valuable, to treat our time precious, and not to just give it away, not to just throw it away on people that don't value it. Honestly, the people that overtalk and express too much, they don't value your time, and they never will, especially if you just give it so freely. So that's a good one. That's a really good, gosh, we got to value our time. All right, let's see where else I'm at. All right, so the stress that you're driving tunes you into a frequency that creates more stress. It creates less time. It actually condenses time. Think about that when you're feeling stressed. You're pushing time down, and you're going to actually have less time because the overwhelmment is depleting your energy field, and it's putting you in a frequency of less time. Holy crap. Wow. Think about that next time you're stressed out and feel like you don't have enough time. All right. So if you want to tune into more ease and flow, here are 7 ways you can do this. Okay. You ready? Okay. First of all, you guys know I'm going to say this, freaking meditate. Okay. Meditate 10 minutes. My abundance challenge was just coming up on April 22nd. Email me at livelifegolden@gmail to save your spot. I don't even have the sign up link yet because I kind of just decide, you know me, I fly by the seat of my pants. So April 22nd, we start. There's a meditation and an activity every day. This will get you committed to meditating if you're having any trouble, because you have to do it every day or else you're kicked out of the group. Now, I haven't kicked anybody out, but I will. I'm going to have to, because I got to keep the integrity to the group. So those meditations, I'm making them 10 to 11 minutes. That's it. 10 to 11 minutes of just sitting and tuning your frequency to higher state of mind, higher consciousness, the alpha state where everything is created from, zero state awareness. So meditation would be my first suggestion to prepare the energy field for your day, to help you to settle, to put you in receiving mode, to help you to get into the allowing state of abundance. I mentioned my challenge. That was number 2. Join my abundance activation challenge. That's on WhatsApp, by the way. We're not doing Zoom, so you don't even have to show your face. This group has been really awesome. They've been sharing their activity every day. So we have like a little writing thing that they do every day, and they've been sharing it, which is super cool. And that's not even something you have to do or anything I asked. It's just this group has been so cool about being vulnerable and sharing, and it's been really helpful. It's actually making the group expand and grow together, which I love. All right, so relax more and take more deep breaths. Okay, that's being mindful. It's being mindful moment to moment. How am I feeling? Checking in. Just breathing, taking that deep breath, expanding the lungs in your abdomen, and then releasing all the air out of your lungs really, really slow and long actually relaxes the body. It signals your parasympathetic nervous system to chill out, to calm down. And guess what happens when we calm down? We get more time. The time opens up to us. We start to feel the ease and flow of life. And guess what happens when you start tuning into the ease and flow of life? You get more ease and flow. You start to feel more joy. Your time becomes yours again. And all of a sudden, it opens up to what you're passionate about and what you want to create. All right, so that's 3. 4, change your story. What is your story about time? Do you always say you don't have enough? Do you always feel constricted? You're condensing time when you do this. Do you always say, I'm late? I'm always late. Like, what's your belief about yourself and your relationship with time? I'm always late. Guess what? That will ensure that you're always late. My saying became a long time ago, I always show up at exactly the perfect time, and it doesn't matter what it says on the clock. So I am predictably a very on-time person. I respect people's time, right? Are you respecting other people's time? Because that's an energy, right? I respect and value people's times, especially hairdressers, dentists, doctors, whatever appointment I have. If I have something scheduled, I respect people's time and I show up on time. But if something should happen and a couple of minutes goes by, first of all, I always text the person and let them know that I'm 5 minutes after we said we were going to meet. Never say I'm late. And it's always perfect. And like, so funny, one day I was actually got stuck in a little bit of traffic, and I had a kind of a physical therapy appointment. This guy does all my body work, kind of like massage, but different. He's like a sports therapist. And I texted him and I was just like, I'll be there in 7 minutes. And he was like, yep, stuck in the same traffic. See you then. It was like we both showed up at the perfect time. So that's what happens when you believe, when you have that story of, I have plenty of time, right? It doesn't mean, but you respect and you value it. So it doesn't mean that you just act like, willy nilly, I have plenty of time, I don't have to worry about it. No, you're conscious of the time. You're mindful of the time. You're moving with the time, not against the time. When you're in stress and you're in overwhelmment, you're moving against the time, is what you're doing, right? You're condensing it. You're pushing, you're trying to push things into place. And that is a very, it's just a very dense way to live. It's a very heavy way to live, and it's going to activate all those stress hormones that will cause and create disease. You don't want to do that. All right. So, number 4, value your time. Just like you value other people's time, you must value your own time. And this connects to worthiness. This connects to the fact that you are worthy of the time that you want to spend on yourself. So, if somebody invites you somewhere and you would much rather stay home and take a bath, you're valuing yourself and your own time if you don't actually want to do that thing with that person. That's a big one. And that is in my abundance challenge, cleaning up these worthiness stories and the over obligation and trying to get love from lack and trying to please the world and not yourself. And the problem with that is you will end up resentful and you will end up empty and you will end up exhausted because you're not spending the time that you need to value your own self, to take care of yourself. So value your time and be a little protective about it. Don't just give it so freely to people that don't really respect it. You don't have to sit there, oh my gosh, holy crap. I was in network marketing for 7 years, and a lot of what we would do is building relationships, right? Like that's the whole nature of network marketing, is building relationships. So I would have coffee with people, I would create meetings with people, and I would show them our business. It was an online, amazing company. Actually, I'll put my little link in there because I actually had somebody that signed up the other day. I don't really do it anymore, but I love it. I still use it. It's online greeting cards and gifts, but they're actual cards and gifts that get sent, and you can put pictures on them, and they're super cool and cute, and they're way cheaper than the drugstore. So the idea of that company was to show people the video and have them send a free card. So I'll put my link in the show notes, and you can send a free card, and if you like it, you can use it. So I sat with hundreds and hundreds of people over the course of 7 years, and the amount of time that I gave to that business was a lot. It was a lot because I would end up sitting with people, and I have this ability. People just want to tell me what's going on. They want to tell me their problems. They want advice. Like I probably have a big sign. That's my big signal, right? Like I want to help people. Crazy. Yeah. 2, 3, 4 hours on a meeting that should have been less than an hour so many times. And I remember just like sitting there looking at people, and they literally just look like these talking heads, and they just keep talking, and I'm just exhausted and I don't know how I'm going to get out of there. So now I excuse myself. I say, oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go somewhere. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't have to just give of our time so freely because it's precious and because we want to be available for other things and not just someone's, massive expression that they can't stop talking. I don't know what gets into people. Pay attention to this. Are you one of these people? What gets into people where they just manipulate the conversation and they never ask you anything? Like I have so much value that I could give to you if you just closed your mouth and became a little interested in the other person, created a little exchange. So pay attention to that. If you're in a lot of conversations and you're the only one talking all the time, you're missing out. I'm telling you right now, you're missing out on connection. You're missing out on valuing someone's opinion, valuing someone else's time, and really creating a solid connection where people want to spend time with you. So pay attention to that. I know a lot of people like that. And it's not fun. It's just not fun when you're in a conversation and they're just doing all the talking. It's not really that fun. All right. Value your time. Take your power back. Hello. Take your power back. take your time back, take your power back. How many things in your daily schedule are you doing that you're not loving, that you're just doing out of obligation? I know the clothes need to get washed. All right. A lot of people don't like laundry. I don't mind laundry. And my life hack for laundry is to do it every day. Almost every day I do a load of laundry. It's never a big deal. I take it out of the dryer, I put it on the kitchen table, I fold it, I put it away, it's done. I don't have a big family right now. I do have one kid. I do her laundry still sometimes. But if you do that and you create more of a system with it, it doesn't become so life-sucking. I heard this a long time ago, that if you are doing little people's laundry, or if you're doing your family's or your husband's, I do always do my husband's. He's not allowed to touch the laundry because he has he may have done this on purpose, but he has no regard or respect for colors. So I do that. But you can fold their laundry and you can actually send them light and love and prayers and good juju. And I love that. That makes laundry like a thing. It makes it like a spiritual thing. And I absolutely love that. So whatever you're doing that you're not loving, the other thing I've done with cooking is, holy crap, have I reached a new level with cooking. So I've always liked cooking, maybe even loved cooking, but I did have resistance around it when I couldn't think of what to make every night, right? They want dinner every freaking night. And, now I'm like 50, and I recall that my mom literally around this age stopped cooking. Like, she didn't really enjoy it. And my dad honestly used to put it down all the time. But I remember like not really having dinner anymore. As we got older, like we had to take care of ourselves, and I still do it. And I've reached a level of like creation where I'm just getting ideas. Like, I just go to the fridge and I'm like excited to see what I pull out and what I do. And the combinations I've been coming up with are so cool. So it feels inspired. It feels like I have this connection to the universe, God, and I'm just getting these ideas because I don't have any resistance around it. I've actually, many times we talk about getting takeout, and then my husband's just like, but your cooking is just better. And I'm like, I agree. And I'll go whip something up. And literally you can make dinner in like 15 minutes. Like, I've mastered it to that point where I'm just kind of throwing things together and it's not that hard. So maybe, just had an epiphany. Maybe I'm actually creating time in my cooking because it's not taking a lot of time in what I'm doing. I'm actually pretty impressed that like in 15 to 20 minutes, I can have this beautiful, healthy meal in front of us. So maybe that has to do with that as well. I think so. All right, so take your power back. You start to decide if you're having phone conversations with people and you're not enjoying it, put a time limit on it. Hey, I got 10 minutes. That's all I got. It's a good idea. It's a really good idea. I actually met someone recently for coffee, and I said, okay, I have like exactly an hour, because I can tend to give a lot of time to people because I enjoy people and I love to express and exchange and communicate, but that doesn't necessarily serve me. So I'm starting to put some power, to put some boundaries. Boundaries on that. And that is helping me to take my power back and value my time. All right. So stop letting others eat up your time. That, I just totally went over that. Stop value. Okay, let me go into value, because I already did stop letting others take your time. Valuing your time means you're not wasting it. You're not spending a lot of time on social media. I'm telling you, that shit is a waste of time. Yes, there's connection. I have a business on there, so I have to be on there. But the scrolling and the taking time away from your family and the things you could be doing, the reading, the creating, the researching, what you want to do with your dreams, all of that is detracted from the more time you spend scrolling. There's no value in scrolling, people. There is not. I know you want to find out what's going on with people and what's going on with the world, blah, blah, blah. You could take a lot of time back. I challenge you to actually time yourself and see how long you're on there for. I'm not even going to tell you how much time I spend, like what my report is every week. It's embarrassing. I mean, I would be embarrassed about it if I wasn't creating stuff on my phone, because I'm creating a lot of stuff. So I think that would feel a lot worse if I wasn't actually accomplishing stuff in my life, which I absolutely am. And I do a lot less scrolling than I used to. I really do. I'm really just checking to see if there's engagement on my posts now. And maybe once or twice a day, I do a little scroll, but I don't get stuck in there because it's yucky. Okay. And be careful of TikTok. I'm telling you, TikTok, just be careful. Just be careful. All right. In your time, let go of, what is this? Your time. Okay, that was 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that was 7. Okay, so the last thing that I want to say about that and time is your belief is really what creates. Your belief and your feelings towards your time is what's really creating it. So we always have time for what's important. We always do. We make time for what's important to us, right? So if something is really important to you and you keep saying you don't have time to do it, it's not that important to you because you would make the time. Something else I've been considering recently. Everything, all the stories that we come up with, but it has to do with sleep. And I don't always sleep that well. And I think I don't want to put a lot of meaning behind that. I honestly think a lot of it has to do with planets. Like when the planets are aligned and there's a full moon and there's stuff like that going on, I definitely have some challenges sleeping. And I credit that to other people. So I'm like, if everyone else is having trouble sleeping, then it must be planetary. And I love blaming shit on the planets. But what I've really realized recently with sleep is I used to count how much sleep I got, especially when my kids were like, up in the middle of the night. I would count how much sleep I got. I would tell everybody about that every day. I only got 2 hours of sleep. I only got 3 hours of sleep. I'm exhausted. That's the story, right? That's the story you're promoting. So recently I realized I was going to let all that go. And I barely ever look at the clock in the middle of the night because I don't want to know. I don't want to know how long I'm up for. I don't want to know. But who came up with this? We have to get 8 hours of sleep. And because it's dogma, right? Like, okay, all right, whatever. They have scientific proof, whatever. But there's people like Tony Robbins who literally gets like 4 hours of sleep a night and he's fine. I think we got to kind of loosen the grips on the story about sleeping. And maybe we don't need so much. And yes, like it takes a little while. What I've noticed is like, because we haven't been getting up early and now we are, I definitely feel it in the morning. Like I feel a little different. I don't feel as rested, but I can give that any meaning I want. So the meaning I've been giving to it recently, especially this morning as I was in my business mode, was I just have to get used to it again, right? Because I kind of fell out of it. Now I have to get used to it again. Maybe I got to go to bed a little earlier. Maybe. I don't know. But if I'm up in the middle of the night and I still get up in the morning, I'm not running that narrative. I'm not running that story of I didn't sleep well last night, so I must not feel good today. That's bullshit because your body reacts to the story you tell it. So if I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I feel good today. I have energy. We have infinite energy at our fingertips. We have it. It's running through us. We are an extension of it. We are an expression of it. So when we tune into meditation, we bring in that life force. We get into higher mind. We connect with those higher frequencies. There is no such thing as tiredness. It's all energy. We are energy beings. So, I would start playing with that, start questioning that, because if you could cut out an hour of sleep, think about how much you could do, right? I've shared before, geez, my show's running long today, and I'm going to blame this on a friend of mine who said, she's so funny. She said my shows weren't long enough because she's got a 45-minute walk on the treadmill. And so I'm going to hit 45 for you today, Carolyn, just for you, baby. So I totally just forgot what I was going to say. Oh, maybe I'm not going to go to 45. Oh boy. Yeah. The stories we tell are creating. So start playing with that. Start shaving some time off sleep and taking the hour. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Writing. When I wrote my last book, I did 3 pages a day. I am so looking forward to getting back to that. I'm definitely in this state of creating other things. So that has kind of gone to the wayside, which is fine because we have ebbs and flow in our life. We're not supposed to be like, beaten down this creation path all the time. Sometimes we need a little space to come back to the things that call to us more excitedly. So I've got books. Yeah, I got books that are coming. Like this year, there will be probably 2, maybe 3 books come out. But I did 3 pages a day. 3 pages a day is 90 pages in a month. That's a book, baby. That's a book. Editing process takes a lot longer, but I'm not going to go into that. The idea is that took me 15 to 20 minutes a day. That's it. Just focused time. That's it. 15 to 20 minutes focused. And you know what? Focusing is so good for us. We have issues with focusing because we don't do it anymore. We're so used to things moving fast and scrolling and focusing. Like 15 minutes of focused time is like hundreds of hours, of unfocused time. So focus. All right. So time is yours, baby. Hit me up if you're interested in the 21-day abundance activation. I'm going to run this on April 22nd. I'm super pumped. I'm telling you, this one's life-changing, and it gives you the ability. So I'm charging $47, which is like less than $3 a day. It's like half of a Starbucks, right? Like coffee prices. Half of a Starbucks. Like, give up your Starbucks and do this. I'm telling you, you'll be healthier, you'll be happier, you'll feel better. Make your coffee at home. Like, hello. So $47, 21 days, you're going to get me. So you get my work, you get to experience my work firsthand. We're in the WhatsApp, so no Zooms, and we get to collaborate. I get to connect with you. I get to reply to what you're doing, to, any beliefs that you're having. You get to ask me questions. It is a really super cool thing that I am really excited that I'm starting to launch this. It just feels so right. It feels so good. It feels like the next logical step in what I'm doing. I have a group still going right now. I do still do group coaching. We meet once a month on Zoom and I do a teaching. But this is cool. This is a daily thing. So it keeps you really accountable and keeps you really in tuned with creating the frequency of abundance in a lot of different ways. All right. I love you all. I'm going to put those links in for the card thing. And I'll put the link in for Mindful Manifestations Secrets Daily Guide and Journal. I've gotten some good feedback on that one because that has writing prompts and 100 pages of content on how to really create a very strong mindfulness daily practice where you can start tuning into the life that you really want to create. And I think that's it. Other than I'm launching a TV show, baby. I'm launching The Golden Hour is coming to you shortly. I think our first day is April 11th. So that will be streaming all over the place. And you'll see that stuff on my social media. You'll know how to find it. But twice a week. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to have me 3 days a week. For now, like this podcast, I'm going to keep it going as long as I can, but 3 days a week, I'm going to be talking to you. All right. I love y'all. Peace.